Hello guys, welcome once again to Hill Studios, and this is my devlog on where my brother sent me a YouTube video link where he challenged me to do this war simulation to kind of stuff where there will be a lot of arrows coming to a soldier and the soldier will be keeping his shield as a support to him, and we are just looking out how this simulation turns out, and let's get started. Okay guys, now I just made a Unity project. You can just see I'm just importing packages and Unity project is just opening right now. And first of all, what you'll do is I'll just show you what the YouTube video is and you'll get a basic idea of what we are making, and I'll explain each step throughout the process. I hope you guys just saw the video. It is from a game known as Tabs. It's a totally accurate battle simulator, and this is a video my brother sent me where there are a lot of areas coming to a person, and he just need to defend it. Okay, I think you guys got a basic idea of what we're doing. Let's get started right now. Okay, now I've opened my Unity project and I created a new plane which is a scene, and it should be also calling as ground because our place needs to stand, right? So after that I went to one of my favorite websites, cc0textures.com, where we will find high quality textures because I don't know how to make textures. So I just went to the textures and just downloaded a texture from that. I just choose a grass texture because it looks kind of perfect for the forest kind of stuff, and I also implemented a skybox at the top, you can see, and it's also from Unity Asset Storage, is free and it is quite good. So just create a material and add all of the normal diffuse whatever slots they are and just drag and drop it on the plane, and now your ground texture is prepared. Now what we need is a 3D models, and for 3D models I'm going to mixhammer.com. Okay, I went to mixhammer.com and I downloaded a soldier model where, because he's a soldier and he's defending arrows, right? So I downloaded a soldier thing, and after that I'm adding rigid body. I'm also adding a box collider to making sure I made a third person controller kind of stuff so player can stand and having physics on him. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also using the box collider right now, you can just see, and we will continue the next process after this. Okay, so I also had some of my animations, so making sure like our player can move straight, forward, backward, something like that. And where do I get the animations? I get the animations from a currently working game. What is my game? The game is known as a Gladiator Rise, which is a multiplayer medieval fighting game where people compete in arena, and it's a game that I'm working on for at least like 20 days. 20 days. So I hope you guys subscribe to this channel to get notified of the game. So let's get continue to our game right now. So you can just see like I'm messing up with the position and orientation of the animations because animations can get quite messy in 3D modeling actually. If your player is turning in a straight way, but animation if it is in the left way, then you have to make sure like animations is in the same position as the player. And now you can also see that I'm preparing an animation controller, and I'm also applying the root motion as well. So I'm also making sure like the animation work good. And now that right now the animation is not working good, but I'll let you know when the animation is working good. Okay, now animations are working good right now. I just did what I have to do right now is like I took all of the animations and I changed their rig to humanoid so that they are compiled with the actual motion that we have, and I also created a simple player controller. So based on that I'm just having different kinds of animations here. So one of my main plan right now is to make sure like our player is running and is also moving his shield in front of his body. That are two things, because whenever an arrow is coming, the arrow should hit the shield, right? But one of the problem with that, in the Mixamo there is no animation, something like a player is walking and a player is also holding the shield. So what I need to do is I need to combine these two animations into one animation so that it doesn't get affected, something like that. So what I did right now is to choose layer mask. So when we consider about animation controllers are the mixture of layers. Each layer will have a layer mask. What's the meaning of layer mask? Layer mask help us to choose what kind of body parts do we change. Like if I want to change only hands, I just need to apply that particular avatar mask to that particular layer mask. So you can just see in the particular way here in the animation controller I have two layers, lower and upper. I will take two avatar masks and I will assign both of those avatar masks to the both of the layers. You can just see that I'm assigning those particular avatars to this particular layers. Now what happens is that I will enable one animation in one layer, another animation in the other layer, and I'll make sure I set the weight proportion according to my preferences. And when I click play, you can just see like the guy is just making sure like all of the running animation is available, and it is playing on the lower part of the body, and the shield defensing thing is applying on the top motion, but you can just observe like it is so worse. Like the combination of both of them is so worse, and I don't even know what to do. Like if I increase this particular weight to 1, only one animation will play and other animation will not play right now, and I just need to maintain a smooth balance between both of them, but it is not happening right now. You can just see like shield is not in front of this particular player, it is going somewhere else, and I don't know what to do with that. So I will tell you guys how I figured it out. Okay, unfortunately, there is no smooth transition for avatar mask initially. Maybe I can do that, but I have only 3 to 4 hours left because I have an examination, so I just need to spend an evening on that. So initially I have gone to for another alternative. I just went to internet and I searched for animation rigging. What is the meaning of animation rigging is like if you are using animation rigging, you can just control one part of the entire animation, like head or your hand, something like that. So what I need to do is I just need to apply animation rigging, and after that I just need to play this particular target at a correct position so that our shield will come at the front of the player and remaining all body parts will act like them. So initially if you look at this particular animation, the player is running, right? But I am just overriding the animation on the hand and I am using animation rigging for that. So if you just want to make sure like you just need to have a specific animation, just use animation rigging. It will make your life much more easier, and I followed Brackeys tutorial for that, so kudos to him. So I am just, you can just see right now like I'm just modifying this particular target variable and I'm just increasing its rotation, all of this kind of stuff, finding correct position, making sure like the shield comes in the right position, and I'll let you know when I find the correct position of the shield. Okay guys, I just found a correct position for our particular target and our for a shield. I also increased the size of the shield, making sure like it is large enough to cover the entire portion of the player. And I also added a rigid body to this shield, so it will also interact with the physics. So whenever there is a force applied, it will connect us. So now I think most of the part is completed. We have a model which is running, and we need another guy who we need to throw, but I think it will be leading to much more complex. So I'll just place a guy just for the namesake, and I will just instantiate the arrows, making sure they come towards the player. Let's go to that part right now. Okay, right now I imported the same model right now, but I haven't worked much on him because he's not that much important. Next part is arrows. Arrows should come towards the player. So where do I get the arrow model? From Mixamo. And did I use that arrow anywhere? Yeah, thank you, because you just remember currently working game Gladiator Rise. Gladiator Rise is a multiplayer medieval fighting game which will make sure like you get the ultimate fighting experience in your mobile phone. Make sure you subscribe to this channel or follow my Instagram for more and more updates when I release the game. Thank you. Since we need to have a large amount of arrows, I just created a prefab of that arrow, and I just duplicated arrows, and I created game object of 10 arrows, and I again created a clone of the game object which cloning 10 arrows, and I made sure that I displayed them at a correct position so that we're going to have much more arrows. And so I just created all of these large amount of arrows. So I created a rigid body and a box collider on that particular arrow prefab, and I also created a script. What the script contains a rigid body and a thrust, a parameter. What I did is initially at the start of the function I'm going to call a function add force. What add force does is initially it takes the rigid body and it's going to add velocity to this one. And there are so many approaches in order to do that. Just search your internet and you will find multiple approaches. You can just use something which matches your preferences. So I added rb.velocity, and now you can just see that the arrows are just going towards the player in a forward direction, and I implemented a scale time function to just slow the time so that you can just see much more clearly. And I also added a box color and rigid body to the shield so that it will add physics to that one, and I also added rigid body and box color to the arrow as well. And I added ground and whatever. And if you just want to stick that particular arrow to the shield, you can just make sure like whenever a particular box collision is happening, you can just set each kinematic to false on that arrow so that arrows will get stick to the particular shield. And this is my devlog, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you got some value out of it. And make sure you comment out if you find any suggestions, and make sure you also follow my Instagram and YouTube for just for my recent game getting. Thank you so much for watching. That's it. We'll meet you next week.